Retirement. If you're anything like me, you probably hate thinking about the future because you think about saving that money to spend when you get older, but you probably just want to spend that money right now doing the things that you know you can do right now. But unfortunately, it's a fact of life. Social Security may not be able to carry us all the way through, and especially at maybe the lifestyle you're living now. So it is something that unfortunately we have to think about no matter what. Are you panicking yet? Do you have enough saved? Have you started saving? If you haven't saved anything at all, don't worry, don't go down a black hole. There are the basics, right? I mean, you can have a 401k with your employer, you could open a Roth IRA, make sure that any savings you have is gaining interest, whether that's like a high yield savings or something else. But we talked to Brad Thomas, and he is living proof that you can start at zero and still save for retirement, because in 2008, 2009, during the housing market crash, he lost millions of dollars. He had to start all over. And so he's gonna give us some tips on what he did and also what he advises some people to do.
I can say I'm great recession proof, I'm pandemic proof, and I think you've got to think along those lines. You always want to invest in companies. Income stocks are really suited for retirees because they provide this added stability and safety. I'm talking about investing in companies like Coca-Cola, like Johnson & Johnson, like Target. Many of the companies you see driving around the streets are owning real estate that you can in real estate investment trusts, which are essentially real estate stocks that generate higher income that again help supplement that income in your retirement ages.
Okay, and what Brad is really into is real estate investment trusts, also known as REITs. This is what he used after the housing market crash, and he says it's a great way to start from anywhere, whether you have money saved up, whether you don't have any money saved up, and guess what? You don't necessarily need a lot of money to get involved in this.
And this is an area that I'm really passionate about, investing in real estate stocks, because they are higher yielding investments. Most people understand real estate. You drive around your town every day and you see a hospital or a medical office building or a shopping center, or even a cell tower or a data center or a Walgreens or what have you. You can invest in those companies through real estate investment trusts. And you don't have to have millions of dollars to invest in this. You can own just one share of these companies to own shares in a data center REIT, which by the way is powering all of this artificial intelligence. By the way, the law is 90% of income for a REIT has to be paid. It has to be, as part of the law, has to be paid back to the investor. So that's what makes these REITs really repeatable business models. You could own as little as one share of stock, $25.
Another cool thing about REITs is that it's liquid. It's not like private investment. So if you do need the money, you can sell some shares and get that money and use it for what you need to use it for, which is awesome. But another thing Brad is really adamant about is make sure you diversify your funds. That's something he failed to do back in 2008, 2009, and he doesn't want anyone to end up in the same position he did.
I think another really important thing to take away here is just diversify. That's another one of my lessons learned. When I was a real estate developer, I didn't have my capital invested in other asset classes. So had I diversified when that happened, again, I probably wouldn't have had as much loss that I experienced in 2008, 2009. So it's important to spread your capital around, not just investing in stocks, maybe even own some private real estate. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, every investor is going to have his or her own risk profile. Whether you're a do-it-yourself investor or a do-it-for-you investor, you've got to know those businesses that you're investing in.
When I go to the doctor, I trust what he's saying to me because I didn't study a medical textbook. Whereas if I talk to a financial advisor, I think a lot of people just blindly trust that person because they're employed, they have this career, they went to school for it. So you're just kind of like, okay, I hope that they know what they're doing and I trust that they know what they're doing.
Even if you've got an advisor, a financial planner, you need to know what those investments are and what shares you're investing in. Company like Coca-Cola, you don't have to break down the business model in a forensic level, but you should know the stocks or the companies that you own and why you own them. What you don't want to do is take your hard-earned capital and just go send it out places blindly you certainly, if you're going to have a financial advisor, you certainly should make sure they're qualified, do your homework there. But again, go the extra mile and understand where you're putting that money. I mean, this is your hard-earned money that's at risk, and you want to be able to put that money out and generate income. The key is that income needs to come back to you. And there's so many alternatives out there, both public vehicles and private vehicles that you can invest in. So you've got to do your homework, you've got to do your due diligence, and again, and do your research. And that's an important part of this is understand that business, know exactly where that money's going. Even if you have an advisor, don't trust that advisor. Make sure you look at those stocks and understand what your hard-earned principal is going into. This is your hard-earned money that you're living off of in retirement.
So where can you find Brad Thomas? Well, he wrote a book. It's called REITs for Dummies, so you can get that. He's also part of Wide Moat Research. You can find him at widemoatresearch.com. And he says he uses Twitter the most. His handle is rbradthomas. Now, if you want more consumer news, make sure you like this video and hit the subscribe button below. Local 12 has more consumer stories just like this. Don't forget to click the links and press subscribe.